along with my fluffy cat Dandelion, who's hanging out here too. And today is in the midst of several holidays, and I wanted to talk about some holiday mathematical things that I realized or noticed that I think are interesting, some connections with different number sequences and stuff. And I was going to possibly make some of these into bonus videos, but there's a few random things I want to share, so I figured I'm going to do it all together in a somewhat live stream, somewhat bonus video, sort of structuring this more as if it's a bonus video. But if you do have any questions or comments in the chat, I will look at those at some point in this live video. First of all, let me also note that I recently, a day or two ago, put out a new main episode on my combo class channel about the easiest shortcut to translate into other bases, which is trickier than translating from other bases, is translating into them. And make sure you've checked that out. It's linked in the description. And also, that combo class channel, which is technically my main channel, is very close to 50,000 subscribers. It's at 49.9 thousand. So if for some reason you're not subscribed there, go there and one of you may be the 50,000th. That'll be neat. Halfway to another plaque, because this bonus channel, with help from a lot of shorts, did get past some subscriber milestones quicker. In any case, I hope everyone's doing well in this holiday season. Right now, it is technically Christmas Day and the day that's about to turn into the first night of Hanukkah. Hanukkah is celebrated more as a series of 8 nights, so technically it hasn't started yet, but that will be beginning technically this evening and lasting 8 days. Christmas, it varies whether you're saying there's a 12-day stretch of some sort or whether there's an eve and a day, although that 12-day stretch we will be analyzing today. And if any of you celebrate either of those or any other similar holidays, I hope you've had a nice time. I have spent some time with my family and we'll be doing some more things upcoming. And I do need to show you one cool thing I got as a gift. I kind of need to set it up, so I'll be setting it up while I'm talking. Anyway, with these holidays and such, the biggest one that's possibly the most natural of many holidays that also occurs at this time is the winter solstice, when the Earth is a particular distance from the sun, making it, in the part of the world I'm in, noticeable that it is the longest night compared to day. Happened around the 21st of this month. So now the days are slowly getting longer again, which is sort of nice because it's been getting dark pretty early. And it's also been incredibly rainy around the classroom. I've been filming some stuff indoors, including parts of the last combo class episode, to dodge some crazy rain. But right now there is a pause that I don't think will interrupt the live stream. And we have some notes in the comments and we have some jokes. And the joke is from Voider, which is, why do mathematicians confuse Christmas and Halloween? I've heard this one before and it's great, so we're going to throw in this joke. The answer is that dec 25 equals oct 31. Calendar-wise, that looks like it's saying December 25th is October 31st. But in terms of numeral bases, that's saying the number that the decimal system, base 10, that we're used to expresses as 25 is 3-1, how you express it in base 8. That's actually very related to the last combo class episode that is on that main channel that you should check out after the stream if you haven't, is how you would do translations like that. If I knew that we had 25 in our base, how would I figure out what string of digits base 8 would write that in? It's a lot easier to go the other way, but it turns out there's a really good shortcut for that way as well. Anyway, I wanted to show you folks a cool little gift I got. It's just one little die that we have in here. Oh, whoa! What happened there? I thought we had one die, not 8 little ones. Well, that's a fun little trick. Let me know if you can figure out what was happening there. And going forward, I want to first note that some of the types of connections I'll be exploring today relate to random cultural things related to either Christmas or Hanukkah, which are two big holidays of this season, and how they happen to both connect to types of numbers that I'm going to pull open the screen here, known as triangular and tetrahedral numbers. Now, these are types of numbers that are going to get a focus of a main episode soon, and I've discussed them in a few forms, but they're going to get a more focused look at one of these times of pretty soon, probably on the main combo class channel, of more details about all of these oh, this is for later. This just happened to be what I had up. But Pascal's triangle, which is another numerical phenomena that I've mentioned recently, where each number is composed of the two above it, or we could also see it as the coefficients of binomial expansions. And we can also see it if we go a little more diagonal down these main diagonals, which are symmetrical to doing it the other way. A row that's only ones, one that is all of our whole numbers, then the triangular numbers, which are numbers that could be in the form of 1, or 1 plus 2, or 1 plus 2 plus 3, or 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. And if you don't know what would be beyond that yet, before I mention it in a minute, think about what you think tetrahedral numbers might mean. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, we're going to look at a random connection first with Hanukkah. Hanukkah, culturally, has this thing called a menorah. And with the menorah, it has 9 spots for candles. This is a smaller one. This one doesn't have as many. Typically, it has 9 spots for candles. This middle one would be a spot for a candle as well, usually. And the reason there's 9, whereas there's 8 days of Hanukkah, or 8 nights of Hanukkah, is that the center one is always lit and is the one you use to light the others. It's sort of like the utensil. And then you have an amount of candles, not counting the center one, that's which night of Hanukkah you're on. So first you have the center one and just one other that you light, then the center one and 2, center one and 3, and etc. So how many candles do you need to buy if you want to do this whole Hanukkah ritual? Well, we're going to need to do 2 plus 3 plus 4, and hey, this is almost a triangular number. It's a triangular number without the 1 at the beginning. It's like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 without the 1 is how many candles we're using, meaning that after a given amount of nights, the amount of candles you'll have used is 1 less than a triangular number. So what's 1 less than the 8th triangular number? Oh no, wait. So it would be 1 less than the 9th triangular number, because we go from 2 to 9, the amount of candles we need in total, counting the middle. So ranging there, the 9th triangular number is 45, so we would need 44 candles in total. So there's a connection with triangular numbers, but what about Christmas connection with them and with tetrahedral numbers? Well, there's this popular-ish, I don't know how popular it is anymore, but I bet some of you know it, song about the 12 days of Christmas. This is an old, I guess, classic song. Sort of strange gifts. It definitely tells about our times changing when we see what they give as examples of gifts. But let's just assume that each of these is a singular gift, a singular item that has some quantity. This one is 10 amount of Lord Zalipin. This one's 6 amount of Giselayan. And as they go through this song, the tale of the song is that on the first day of Christmas, they got a partridge in a pear tree. The second day of Christmas, they got 2 turtle doves and a partridge. Third day, they got 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge. So, first of all, if you look at a particular one of them, and you, like, the partridge in the pear tree, and you ask on each day, how many of those did I have for a singular day? That is 1 for the partridges, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Others are going to be zeros until it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. We also saw a row of 1s here. Now, if we add those up and say how many partridges and pear trees have you gotten total, then it's going to start looking like triangular numbers. On day 2, I've gotten 2 partridges. On day 3, I've gotten 3. And 2 of these and 3 of these. Anyway, let's jump to, we can see triangular numbers here. Either if we look at a given day, how many gifts we got on that day, or tracking other directions. You could sort of look at it in another direction to find the triangular numbers, but that's an easier way to find them, I suppose, is looking at each given day, how many things we got. And then what if we want, and note that we've seen 1s appear, and we could count natural numbers too, like how many partridges total did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's sort of like going up natural numbers. And then we saw triangular numbers. So we're seeing something Pascal triangle-like. And after the triangular numbers here are what's called the tetrahedral numbers. And those are basically ongoing sums of the triangular numbers. So the 4th tetrahedral number is the sum of the first 4 triangular numbers, kind of like the 4th triangular number is the sum of the first 4 natural numbers larger than 0. And so, and you could even see those as the sum of the first amount of a row of 1s, the layer before the natural numbers. And with tetrahedral numbers, what that ends up breaking down to is you can see the first one as 1, the second one is 1 plus 1 plus 2, the third one is 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, and etc. And what do you know? That is how many gifts we've gotten in total in this song by a given day. We've gotten 1, then 1 plus, that one we still have, hopefully we still have the partridge, 1 plus 1 plus 2, then 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, and etc. So how many do we have total? Well, we would look at the 12th triangular number. And for a moment, I think it's like right under 365, I seem to recall. I think it's 364 or something. But let me double check that. We're going to look up tetrahedral numbers. I'll do the OEIS. Here we have tetrahedral numbers. And our 12th one, 364. Got it. So, 364 gifts total. But that's not where the connections end, because guess what we'll find on this list? The current year, 2024, tetrahedral, going 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 up through 22. 2024. Turns out next year has some very numerical traits as well. The number 2025. And I'm going to make maybe my next episode, because we're so close to the new year, maybe the next main episode on my Combo Class channel will relate to tetrahedral numbers for a bit, because I want to talk about next year's cool traits. And at that point, maybe I'll show the formula for tetrahedral numbers. In the meantime, if you want a challenge, see if you could figure out what the formula for tetrahedral numbers might be, knowing that it's along the lines of the formula for triangular numbers that I've shown before. Now, it turns out all of these have very interesting structures to what formula defines them, and the structure of these, that's like higher dimensions of triangular numbers, is connected to the structure of things like higher dimensions of cubes, or higher dimensions of squares, which goes to cubes and others, or goes to square pyramids if you do it another way. There are many related, what are called figurate numbers, including square numbers, cube numbers, triangular numbers, and more. And they all relate in a really cool pattern that one of the key episodes that I'm going to make during this grade at some point is about how triangular numbers and square numbers come from this same meta family. and how square numbers kind of just got luckier with their equation lining up where things simplify enough where it's just x times x makes sense in the equation there, as well as making intuitive sense for a square's amount of area. And we have a note from Voider that 2025 is square, and that's one of the cool traits about it. But can you figure out more aspects of its cool figurate nature? Because being square is not the only thing we can note about it. And I will make an episode about that soon, so I'm not going to completely go into it now. To look at a few comments, thank you to everyone saying hi. Happy holidays to all you as well. And we have a guess about how this trick worked. The guest said the large die is hollow and magnetized. It's stuck to the lid. And, yep, sorry if I'm ruining the company's secret, but I like showing how stuff works, so that is how it works. I have this hollow die that you can fill with the other dice, the miniature ones, and then I can tuck it in here. And then you don't show the bottom when you're showing people it. And this has a magnet up here, and this is metal. So then I gotta jolt my wrist kind of quickly to make it happen. So, that one's fun. Maybe we'll investigate more magic tricks someday. I do want to make episodes about that sometime, because I used to be into magic tricks. It was one of those things that before I ever had like a math-focused channel or channels, I still had a lot of weird mathematical hobbies, and some of them were inventing magic tricks that required a lot of math. The type of magic trick that doesn't require much sleight of hand, more so having things set up in a way where even when people think they're resetting things, they fall back into some pattern. Even the mathematics of shuffling in general is very interesting. If you did what's called a perfect shuffle, how many of those do you think it would take to get back to normal order, to the order you started? What about other types of shuffle? So, shuffling will come up again in the future, has a lot of cool traits. We have a note from Stick about how 2025, I'm presuming, is centered octagonal, or maybe 2024. It is, and not to spoil too much, but just for folks to think about themselves. 2025 is extra special because it also relates to triangular numbers, despite not being triangular or tetrahedral, or I don't even think it's any of the dimensions of triangular, apart from the trivial example of a really high dimension, like how 3 is sort of trivially a triangular number and 4 is kind of trivially a tetrahedral number. 2025 would be sort of trivially that many layers down. But being what I call a meta-triangular number, where you are like non-trivially in one of these sequences, triangular, tetrahedral, or beyond, and by non-trivially, I mean basically not being such a small example that you just describe the number of which layer you're on, essentially, and that it goes through all those, is the same as asking which numbers appear in all of Pascal's triangle apart from the outer 2 rows. Which numbers appear in there, which is also the same since numbers are going to appear exactly twice here apart from 2. For numbers larger than 2, it's like saying, how many times does it appear in all of Pascal's triangle minus 2? And I think that's a really interesting trait that will come up in the future. I have some notes about that I want to film sometime about how meta-triangular are different numbers. And there's many open questions. It is unknown, for example, whether numbers could appear 100 different times apart from those outer 2 rows, or just in general. Can they appear more than 100 times? Unknown. There's even much smaller cutoffs of what's unknown. So that's interesting. And Voider said the Discord link isn't working. It said the invite link is invalid or expired. Oh shoot, I added it pretty recently, the one on here. Unless it like auto-filled the wrong one or something. Stick, if you're still here, would you mind putting it in the chat? I'll make sure it's working in here, but if you want to post one. I'm bad with tech. Last time I set up the link, I thought I clicked it through where it never expires, but maybe I didn't do that right somehow. So if Stick's here and happens to have the link, leave it in the chat, and I'll post it in the. I'll make sure it's the right one in the descriptions afterward. Um, but I did think I replaced it recently, so I guess I could have messed that up or something. In any case, let's move onward. Feel free to leave any more thoughts or comments, but we're going to look at another interesting trait that, not about triangular or tetrahedral numbers for this next one. We'll set those aside for a minute. Don't worry, they will return in a main episode soon. Now, this next one is going to be about sort of calendar related things, and it's going to be about why is Hanukkah landing on Christmas this year, and that doesn't often happen. And in particular, why is Hanukkah so late right now? Since Hanukkah is 8 nights, some of the nights of Hanukkah are going to be in January. And I don't remember the last time that's happened. Usually Hanukkah is like earlier December, sometimes even later November, but sometimes it lands really late. And it makes you wonder at first, like, why is there such a discrepancy? Why would there be a discrepancy of, if you were on the same calendar, you'd almost think, why would it be more than like half a month at the most possible? Because if you're rounding to the something of the month in a different way, it's hard to imagine it being that off. But then you remember, cultures use different calendars. In the Jewish calendar, it's year 5000 and something. And their calendar uses months a bit differently than how we use months or leap time or things. Their calendar is closer focused to the moon being involved. The problem is that the moon and the sun are not a perfect, easy ratio. And so we can't get both of them. Can't have our cake and eat it too, where our calendar easily lines up with the moon perfectly and easily lines up with the sun perfectly. So because of that, the Jewish calendar switches some things a little more chaotically in terms of where they land seasonally. And in particular this time, why is it so late? Well, if their calendar works different, they're going to sometimes, month-wise, months being more based on moon cycles, sometimes they would need to use a leap month. You know how we have a leap day? And you may also know there's things like leap seconds and leap minutes done sometimes too. The last leap second was not that long ago. And then I read something about how they might be discontinuing the leap seconds or something. I'll have to look into that. Actually, I should look into it. It's at New Year's that they typically do a leap second. So it's right now. I should look into it. I can't have any of these clocks be 1 second off. What would I do then? Now, anyway, as I researched this thing of like looking up why is Hanukkah so late in particular, well, it does turn out they have a whole leap month in the Jewish calendar. And it's called Adar 2, just with the Roman numeral 2. Sort of just like the sequel to Adar. And Adar 2 was put in this year. There were 2 Adars in 2024, which, remember, in the Jewish calendar, it's a different year. They don't call it 2024. It's somewhere in the 5000s. And so they had a leap month this year, and that's why it pushed it so late. And I looked up somewhere when the other Hanukkahs are landing, like in recent years, because I was curious about how much it jumps around. Let's see. I'm going to look that up again. I lost the tab. Hanukkah dates on different years. There are several ways to spell Hanukkah, by the way. I have some ancestry from people who celebrated Hanukkah and some from people that celebrated Christmas, so my family sort of does a mix of them in a way. But a lot of these holidays are similar. Now, let's see if I can find when it lands on different years. Here's one that shows a few years at least. So, here's some previous years. 2016, I guess, was the last time that Hanukkah would have been late enough to cross over into the next year, to have some in January. And since then, we can see it ranges, often as early as late November or early December. This time, the latest it's been in a while. And the next time it's going to be later than this is way down here. 2043 is the next time it's going to be later than this. And later in comparison to the year system you may be more familiar with. Everything needs some metric, and so it's all a little arbitrary, but comparing the metrics is interesting. And the next time it'll even be as late as this will be 2035, and then it won't be later until 2043. That's kind of wild. And we do have a comment noting that with leap seconds, that the next possible date for it is June 30th, 2025, but it's unlikely to happen because the Earth's rotation has been relatively fast. I love that, how they don't even know whether there's going to need to be a leap second, because it's not that precise how the Earth stays moving. There are cosmic forces that make the Earth move a little faster or a little slower. Not to mention, our estimates of it are really good, but even our estimates aren't perfect. But there's some wiggle room in how the Earth moves. And so we're still looking. Do we need a leap second? That's pretty cool. And another comment noted it might be 2027 that's happening. In any case, I will keep my eye open when that comes closer. And we do have a good main Discord link here. And that one at least works. I'll just replace the one in the video description with that, just in case if the other one wasn't working for anyone. And you should go and chat there, people. I often slack on chatting on there because I just don't really use social media. It's just not something that's ingrained in me. Like, I don't really use Instagram or things like that. And so I do want to get on there more, I've been saying for a little bit, but I'm trying to spend more time interacting with viewers on places like the Discord. And there's also just a bunch of other combo lords with cool thoughts and opinions and stuff to share. So definitely stay tuned with the combo community there. And since we're, maybe at the midpoint of our stream or later, maybe I'll note for my other, necessary time where I feel obligated to say, if you came late, make sure that if you leave the stream early, you check out the almost brand new combo class episode on the other combo class channel about the easiest way to translate things about bases. So that's linked in the description. Anyway, the next episode I might try and get out pretty soon, because I might try and put one out around New Year's related to the numbers 2024 and 2025, and related to different families of figurate numbers. And we'll see if I can get it together to have the next episode ready by then, because that's in like 6 days. But maybe I will. If not, it'll be early in next year sometime. And also another just clarification from a comment. Leap second 2025, possibly. The next time Hanukkah crosses into next year is 2027. So 2027, it crosses into next year. But I meant the time it's later than this year, or equally late to this year. So that's what I was comparing, like when it's 25th or later. But it is true that the next time it crosses over into the next year will be then. So those are some of the main mathematical holiday facts I wanted to share today that popped into my mind. So I'm going to discuss a few other random topics. If you do end up leaving early, check out whatever you've missed on the Combo Class channel. Remember, there are playlists of those main episodes, so click the grade -3 one sometime, and definitely check out that Discord. But in general, to chat about some other random things, I do have some more bonus videos and shorts coming out on this channel really soon. I was focused on trying to get the last Combo Class episode finished recently, and that was sort of an experiment because it was so rainy here that I filmed a lot of that last one myself using a little tripod, there was only a few shots filmed by my camera people. Most of it I filmed myself, and I tried to set up the inside so it looked interesting and stuff. So let me know sometime if you people think that worked, or if there's anything you think I could have done better in comparison to the vibe I'm able to capture with camera people's help. I will be filming again with the camera people quite soon, but it didn't make sense to do it that time because someone was sick and then it was super rainy and blah, blah. And it has been raining like pretty crazy around here. As some of you may remember, if you heard the other week, there was a tsunami warning, but that was related to an earthquake, so almost unrelated. But when it rains, the marina area around here floods. And so I've been taking a lot of walks, getting super muddy, but it's fun to go out and just trek somewhere while it's pouring rain. And I'll bring my phone in like a waterproofed bag, and then when I have a second, I'll take some shots. And so there's some really cool puddles. Sounds boring, but sometime I'll do a live stream. And one of my next bonus videos for my Patreon supporters and YouTube members here is going to include a compilation of just the coolest nature things I've seen recently. Some of them I've been putting in the background of videos. Others of them haven't fit in yet, but there's a lot of cool animals and plants and clouds and stuff I've seen. And I'll probably put some of that for Patreon people soon, and maybe as a live stream at some point in the future, I'll go through some of those because I've been finding some beautiful things, and I encourage everyone to get out and just take walks around wherever is natural, wherever you may see a plant or animal that you didn't expect. Take a walk there. And I'm gonna try filming more of those places with camera people. I sometimes try to and always realize that unless I bring a special type of microphone, the wind down there, the closest area I go hiking is by the waterside. Tons of wind, really bad for audio. The camera view is like noises. And so it's actually like the wind is surprisingly bad what it sounds like. It's hard to edit out in any way. And so I need to bring special microphone stuff, but I will make that happen so I can get more shots out in interesting nature spots. I've actually, since one of my main camera people, Carlo, is taking some classes and is only able to film right now about once a week, I have been sometimes working with an old friend of mine, maybe I'll introduce sometime, who I used to film videos with way back in the day. I used to make YouTube videos with this guy when we were 11 or 12. We used to film on mini DVs, which were these little things, and totally old school type of cameras. And not because we were like high tech using like not a phone camera or whatever, but because back then phone cameras probably just came out. I don't even know if they had come out. Not that, or like a decent enough video phone camera was not out. But someday I'm going to flash back and show you folks some of the probably a little embarrassing for me, maybe good in various ways, really old videos I've made of different sorts. Because believe it or not, I had 5 or 10 different YouTube channels when I was a teenager. And so and like older kid. And some of that was right when YouTube first started coming out. YouTube came out, I think, in 2005. And I remember like that year or the next year, a friend showing me a video and thinking it was so cool that not the video, but the video was someone like falling off a ledge and hurting themselves or something, a little like mild fail or something. But I just thought it was the coolest thing ever that someone was just able to post that there with like, before YouTube, it kind of felt, or at least to me as a kid, like you needed some connection in Hollywood or something if you were going to be able to make anyone outside your friend group see a film you made. And it's like, whoa, there's just this place where you can post anything you've made. And we take that for granted now. But these websites are paying for the hosting for that to be possible. Of course, they're making tons of profit. But we take it for granted. But it's pretty cool that you can do that now. That if I want to show someone far away a video, there are sites that, because they have ads and stuff, are willing to pay for that to be hosted online to someone. And so that blew my mind and made me like go from just wanting to be a writer to like half wanting to be a writer and half wanting to be a filmmaker. And so I've always been in love with YouTube. I've had random channels that at some point I'll flash back and show you folks. There's a few music related ones I had, one sort of comedy like one I had, and a few other random ones that just had a couple videos. Or actually 2 different comedy-ish ones I had. One I had with a friend and one on my own. And a few others, probably even some I'm forgetting right now, but I can think of 5 to 10. And somehow the combo class experiment is the one that ended up getting a lot of people viewing it and interested in it. So who knows how my life would have been different if one of those earlier ones had blown up, if I would have transformed into combo class by this age, or how it would be different in different ways. But one of the YouTube experiments ended up working pretty well, so that's what I'm riding with as my biggest passion and hobby at the moment. And I do still intend to get to a lot of the other goals that I work on in the side to show you folks, like my music I create. You can hear my music in the soundtracks of the Combo Class episodes, but a lot of it, there's longer, clearer versions and some involving lyrics that I want to show you folks at some point. And I want to record a lot of lyrics that I've written over the instrumental songs that I've made. And I've made many albums in the past to show you folks at some point. And I'm working on some books. And apart from those I won't talk about now because I could rant about them a long time. But I will mention that I am still working on one of... People have asked me before, like, if I have merchandise or anything like that. And I feel weird selling stuff to people. And someday it'll be logical to sell shirts or something. But I'd always thought, like, probably I would sell merchandise sometime if it was like a book I wrote or like a game that I invented that you could play or something like that feels like art to me too. And the first one that I think is going to be just practical is simple-ish. There's a lot of variations to how you could play, but the cards are pretty simple. Card game I invented related to my things called numberations. But this card game I think would be fun for the type of people who like my videos. And also, I think would be a good teaching tool. Like, I think the cards themselves would work well as a teaching tool in classrooms or things like that. So, relatively soon, I'm going to try and find a way to actually create and package decks of cards to send people. I won't make any random useless gimmicks in there. I'm not going to call it a board game just so I have an excuse to sell you a board. It's going to be a deck of cards with its rules in there. And when that does come out, maybe some of you will get one of those. Maybe I'll even send one for free or discount to the people who are already supporting on places like Patreon and YouTube memberships. But that is probably the first product-ish thing I plan on selling at some point, is maybe next year sometime a card game. And it's not actually the most complicated card game that I envision making someday. I have a much bigger scale card game that I also want to create someday. But that's sort of just an art project I think about when I'm going to sleep and stuff. As opposed to this one, I know all the rules, and all I need to figure out now is the ratios of which cards I want how many of in the deck. But it's going to be really cool. I might just call it numberations. And we have some various comments from different times. And I don't know what the no is referring to from someone. But in any case, this game I think will be fun and useful for people when I get to do that. It's not going to be anytime really soon. In the meantime, if you want to help with my videos, you can go to Patreon and YouTube memberships and stuff like that. But I consciously try and not milk you guys for money or anything like that. I don't sell cheap shirts or whatever because I'll wait until I have a good manufacturer who I actually know would make a really good one, and that's not something I'm involved in now. And so I wouldn't want to sell something crappy to my fans. So I also have gotten sponsorship offers from a lot of companies for my combo class videos. And I have turned them all down so far because I have this weird purity in my head of those are my art projects. I don't want an ad in the middle of one of them. And so someday, maybe I will need to do that for practicality, like almost all the other YouTubers who make a living do. But I've managed not to do that so far. So maybe that's just a little encouragement to consider supporting on somewhere like the YouTube memberships, because I consciously don't put in sponsorships, partially for my own, joy in the art I create, but partially because I know I don't like watching those, so you won't like watching them either. So I love YouTube as a viewer, so I try and make my channel something that I would actually like to watch on YouTube. Now, We also have another no don't. I don't know if that's a joke or what people are referring to. If they mean no don't make a card game, you'll have to explain your logic. If you mean no don't, when I was talking about some people have suggested making random merchandise and I haven't, don't worry, I will not milk you guys for any money or anything like that. I will need to make money in various ways, but I'll make it, oh, squirrel. I'll make it worthwhile and optional. My favorite things, like I have trouble even posting bonus stuff on my Patreon because I always am like, oh, but I want everyone to get this. I don't want to lock this away for just some people. I still do post bonus content for people, but my best content, trust me, I want the world to see. I want it all to do stuff like that. And people are saying don't add sponsorships. I certainly won't at the moment, but pretty much all the channels who make a living off it do. So if at some point that certainly might be necessary for growth. I need to be able to afford to hire people to film and stuff. So in general, like, I think you'd rather see my videos have higher quality and have something like that in it than not. Trust me, I've avoided it for now. I'm not saying that because I'm planning on doing that. It's something I have decided on my own that I didn't want to incorporate. Certainly might be necessary someday. I am not unique that I magically get money somewhere. I'm not going to magically get money in a way other YouTubers don't. And a lot of YouTubers do that to survive and to hire people. But I've avoided it so far. So thank you to everyone who helps make that possible by supporting in various places. And it's like sponsorships for other math-related websites and stuff like that. Like websites that, good things, theoretically, like not necessarily bad things, but I still avoided them just because I knew it wouldn't be fun for you to watch and I didn't want them in my videos. Now, people say they're very tight with money, and yeah, don't worry if you can't support. If you can't support, watching the videos still helps. So it is support to just have a lot of watch hours that you've given the channel to anyone. That is, in fact, the biggest support you can do, is having a lot of watch hours you have put into my videos and a lot of comments you've left. However, to people who do have the funds to the money, I put it to good places and it helps me hire my people and such. Anyway, that's enough boring talk. All of that is the boring side of the operation that is a real part of life, that making the videos isn't free, but that's the boring side of it. So we don't need to discuss it right now. And to stick mentioning something, don't worry to you, man, you help on the Discord. Just keep helping on the Discord if you want. And don't worry if people who help in one way, that's enough, you know, if someone's helping me in some way or another. And all of you, I just love people being interested in watching my videos. That's the biggest, most important thing. In any case, I have a lot of big plans for next year. Some personal plans about like ways I want to be better with my sleep schedule, ways I want to lose some weight and things like that, and personal other projects I want to finish. But most of my goals for next year are still combo class related to my 2 channels. And so I have a lot of big plans for my other main combo class channel. And I will get sidetracked a million times on this channel as well, because this is sort of fun to post things that I'm not as perfectionist about on here. But sometimes the videos on here blow up more than the ones on there because of the audience from the shorts, even when they're a random one. So it's like kind of ironic or whatever that like the most recent bonus video I made on here has like 3 times the views of the main episode that it was like a follow-up to, which is still not, like, I would rather it have the views than not. But I'm gonna need to make sure to find a good way of continuing to steer viewers I get from shorts to watch the stuff on that channel that I spend more time on. And so I will be continuing to make shorts. I have a bunch of unposted ones that I'm gonna post throughout hopefully the next few days and so. And on the bonus videos is sort of random thing, but to make it more clear which video, if you see a video pop up from me that is a main combo class episode that I might have spent a lot more time on, or a bonus video, you can already tell if you look at the channel name, but it's relatively easy to just see one and be like, oh yeah, that's some combo classy thing. So to make it stand out a little more, that these ones are the more casual channel, and that those ones are a little more like TV show-ish channel, I've started putting a lot of the titles of the videos I make on here in more lowercase, spelled like a sentence as opposed to spelled like a headline. Whereas on the Combo Class channel, they're capitalized in the way a headline would be. And sometimes I still do that on this channel, but I'm kind of going to try and start doing one or the other depending on the mood I want my viewers to get from the title. For example, the sorry, I just got sidetracked with the comments and stuff. And with those, thank you to all the random comments and stuff. But anyway, I want to convey a mood to the viewers sometimes with the title so that it's easier to observe and stuff, which if you see one that's more like a sentence, that's probably more of this style of video, which some people like more, some people like more or less, where it's closer to one take or a bunch of longer takes cut together, and I probably filmed it myself, and etc. As opposed to if it looks more like a newspaper headline, where a lot of the words are capitalized, that's probably more of like a full-on lesson / art project from me. So I'm still thinking about, how I'll title or thumbnail my videos in the future, but that's what I'm rolling with for a moment, just so it's a little easier to see off top which channel one of the videos came from. And I'm also making more playlists. I'm planning which videos make sense in which. Like, for example, I'm going to make a playlist of all my main episodes about numeral bases, a playlist about all my ones about modular arithmetic, which is very related to numeral bases, but some episodes focus on one or the other, a playlist about all the ones about prime numbers. Maybe I'll think of some other ones that I've made enough episodes about to also get a playlist. And at some point, I'm going to go through and do one like my favorite bonus videos I've made, or the longer project of my favorite shorts I've ever made, because there'll be a lot of those to look through. But at some point, I'm going to cultivate those a little more into playlists on the channel. For now, I just have playlists on the other channel of the grades in order. But one of the playlists I'll make soon is, like, people have asked about this not long ago, like my top 10 episodes that I would recommend you show a newcomer to Combo Class, or something like that. So that's coming. Also on this channel, I wanted to make a better video that's on the screen. There's not currently, I don't think, one that when you directly go to the channel, you see the video autoplay right there. I want one that is more like a, hey, what's up? Welcome to my bonus channel. This is the type of stuff we cover here. But I don't want it to necessarily go to subscribers, because there's no reason people who are already subscribed will need to see that 1-minute intro video. So don't be surprised if occasionally there's a video like that that I don't send to subscriptions or to notifications, because it just has some practical purpose, like being the one that's in the front of this channel. Sometimes with the shorts I'm going to be posting, I'm going to do that as well, where they don't go to subscriptions or notifications. If they're a short that's a fact I've already mentioned at some point, or will mention again soon in a longer video, sometimes I still want to make those shorts because it's a really catchy fact out of a 20-minute video that, like, I want the people on the shorts tab to at least know that little minute fact out of it. So if it's a fact that I've already or will in the near future mentioned in another video, some of the shorts won't go to all the subscriptions. So if you do like watching all the shorts for fun, I recommend, like, once a month, just click on the shorts tab and see if you missed any. I'm probably only going to send some of the shorts to subscriptions because, like I said, I kind of make my YouTube channel based on me as a YouTube viewer, what I think a viewer likes from a channel. And I personally, as a viewer, don't watch that many shorts. And when I'm subscribed to a channel, I prefer when there's not that many shorts coming up among the notifications from them. And so I design it like that. Sorry if you love all the shorts and don't want to miss any, you might need to check on there. Part of the reason I do that is because if you really like all the shorts, you're probably already on the shorts page, then they pop up automatically. So, those are just some plans. I don't want to reveal the specific episodes for next year, but next year is going to consist of the heart of grade -3 that I have a lot of good plans for. Grade -3 will probably last from a few weeks ago until right around the end of next year. And that's a guess because the last two grades each took slightly more than a year to make. And maybe someday I'll have the budget to speed them up by hiring more people to help. But right now, it's mostly a one-person show. And so we'll see. Maybe it'll be sooner than that, but I'm predicting it'll be around the end of next year that we go to grade -4. So grade -3 is our triangular number grade. Our grade's about three-evens. Of course, we'll get more of that in other grades. It doesn't have to be reserved for this. But there's all these themes about triangles and about triangular numbers and about trios of things with a special trait and then powers of 3 and etc. And so expect, like I've mentioned before, a lot of three-evenness this upcoming year. And I think this is going to be the year that it'll be the right time at some point after I've released another episode or two clarifying how important three-even numbers are. And after that, it'll be time soon to start the petition. But I want to publish some writing, or just release to you folks, it doesn't have to be officially published, some writings I've done about three-even numbers, because I've done a lot of research about them, and I need to write in a more clarified form. I need to condense a lot of my notes into a little essay about why three-even should be in the dictionary, and that will greatly help the petition. But when it's the right time, I'll let all you folks know that there will be a time in half a year or a year from now, hopefully half a year, maybe a year, could be more, who knows, that I will ask all of you to get all of your friends and family to sign a petition to get three-even in the dictionary, and we're going to make it happen. Okay, and that is most of what I had planned for this episode to discuss. If anyone has any thoughts, let me know, but I'll probably be wrapping up before too long. And let's see what else is new. Oh, this is another new thing. Sort of random, but here, wait, let me get this back to big. So, what do you know? Oh no, I dropped a match and I melted my clock. So, there's a nice old melted clock. It's actually one that came that way. This is trying to simulate a clock that was melted, but I actually have better examples somewhere around here of what melted clocks look like. I got prime examples of real tests of what it looks like to melt a clock. Not fully accurate. No, but they're going for a Salvador Dali vibe with that one, which is one of, I would say I'm not like someone who knows that much about different painters, but one of the more interesting painters to me is Salvador Dali, who had a lot of melted clock imagery in his art. And I think I'm actually going to wrap up about now. Sometimes I make it go up to an hour, but I do have some other things I could work on today, and then some things I'll be doing family related before too long. And I might also take another nice walk, because I've been trying to almost every day go down to the marina. And actually, one thing I will note, and sorry if this sounds like I'm throwing this in just to brag or something, but I really want to say it to motivate some of you to do the same. I've started some weeks, every couple weeks with my friends, when I go down to the marina, going with some friends and bringing a bunch of trash bags and picking up a bunch of trash. Because there's a ton of trash that washes up from the water and that people just leave places. People litter a lot. And maybe you think, like I have sometimes thought in my life, that if I don't litter, then it's fully good. And that's the most important thing, that you shouldn't litter. But we're humans. We benefit from other humans doing things. And so we also have to pick up the slack when other humans do bad things. We have to sort of have some responsibility for being members of the human race if we're going to accept the benefits that come with that. And so some responsibility, I think, is once in a while, try and pick up some trash. And, you can pick up a piece here or there, but you can get a lot more bulk if you dedicate an afternoon and just spend an hour. see how much you can get in an hour. And by the coastline, there can be a lot, because places where like styrofoam washes up or stuff like that, it's awful looking. And you'll feel good afterward because you'll think about all the birds who you might have saved and all the fish and things like that. So maybe at some point, I'll take a photo next time of what it looks like now at those spots after just one time we cleaned up a particular spot. And after we've done it more times, maybe I will get it looking pristine looking in beautiful nature. For a while, it'll need some upkeep, but maybe at some point it'll look very nice. So I'll take a before and after of the landscape. And maybe that'll motivate a few of you to do the same, because I always appreciate the nature. Might as well try and keep it looking nice, and sometimes corners of it don't look that nice with the trash. So we have a comment noting that using ChatGPT and notebooks to summarize their notes and writing can be useful. I need to try more in the future to find getting any benefit out of those. I've never managed to get any benefit out of the AI softwares. I'll try again at some point to see if there's any benefit they can have to helping me sort my writings or anything like that. But it's not the way that I usually work, is interacting with a robot like that. And so I'll see if it ever helps for me to be able to give an AI my notes and say, bullet point it. Like for now, I can use Command F to find whatever words I said. And in my notes, even though they're really messy, I try and keyword things. So if I look up like prime number, it should lead eventually, out of many, many notes I would have to click next, should at some point include all of the notes I've taken related to prime numbers. So there are ways I can sort it. Maybe AI would help with that someday, but it's not usually the way I work. Funny enough, I wanted to mention AI, and I almost forgot, so it's a good reminder. We were talking about triangular numbers, and when I was looking this up earlier to see a particular thing about a pattern, it's not a pattern I discussed, but another pattern that related to wanting to know what a certain large triangular number was, I asked Google, and I want to see if it's still doing this, but Google has that thing that pops up that's like experimental AI. Well, look at this. Let me pull this back up. The 225th triangular number is this, and I'm like, that looks wrong. That doesn't look right. The formula is it times the next one divided by 2. They even wrote the formula right. But that's not the right math. That's not, let me see exactly what the answer is right here. If we take the formula 2025, 2026 over 2, like they said right there, this is it. 25, 26, 2, it's this. And so let's ask them again. Let's see if they got any better. Which one was it that I asked for? Wait. 1 second. I forgot which one. Oh, it's just a really big one. Let's see if they get a really big one wrong. What is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th triangular number? This one I think they got right. They wrote it in a different version here on the ones they did get right. Here, now they're doing it better. Is it? I think they might have done that right. I don't know. See if you can find any other examples, folks. See, I'm curious. Find some examples of other places that Google's AI is wrong. Someday I'm going to make a follow-up video about the one I made once about how ChatGPT was overconfident in its math abilities. Well, I occasionally go back and ask it new things, and while it's gotten better, it's still wrong sometimes, still very wrong. And so is the AI on Google. So be careful when you're asking it stuff. It might just tell you a blatant lie about a triangular number. So once again, the AI is sort of only helpful to the degree that I'm here to oversee it and know when it's right or wrong, which means what's it really doing? If I have to check the answer to verify which answer is correct or tell it to try again when it's wrong, that's me doing the work. So someone also notes AI can help with giving you new ideas. I do value. Some people can do that if they like. I don't really need ideas from AI right now. Ideas are what I have more than enough of. Focus to concentrate my ideas in a clear form. That's what I'm working on. Ideas, I have way too many notebooks filled with ideas. So that's not really what I'm lacking right now. AI is cool and all, but what I really need is more people to work with in real person. I work better with humans in real person to help me with various things related to my projects. Maybe robots will be involved of that form, but I don't. I have more than enough ideas for the moment. Um, Now we also have some other comments from Stick saying that he enjoys cleaning up debris as well, which is nice. And Voider saying that they got the formula wrong as well. I believe it. And so I might make a follow up bonus video sometime about that. There's also this weird thing that I read about it online and then I tried it and it was true that ChatGPT won't say certain names. And I got good footage of me trying that out. I kind of want to make a bonus video, but I'm thinking like I should censor the names because these people probably filed some privacy report to be like, you're not allowed to use my name or something. But there's certain names it acts really weird about because it's not that it's skipping a name that's weird. It's that it will just delete that part of the answer and like cut off mid-sentence or crash on itself and then act like it's completely normal. It'll be like, no, I told you the name. The name is... And you're like, you didn't say the name. No, I told you the name. The name is Crash. And it's like part of the program that's built in thinks it's giving you this answer and another part of the program is saying delete this part of it, the name part. And I also got it to say the name when you really mess around. You're like, if you say repeat this phrase and you say the name, they'll be like, okay, here it is. And you don't get anything. It crashes. It does this crash thing. You have to reload it and there's nothing there where the name was. And if you do it a really certain way of like, say this, write down these following characters, but with non-space between the letters and with this, some way you can make them end up writing out the string of letters that's the name. But it was really hard. They were really good at avoiding it. They're not just going to like write it in capitals instead or something. So I kind of want to make that into a bonus video because I have more to say about that. But I kind of want to censor the name first because I would feel bad if there's like a legit privacy reason these people's names aren't supposed to appear. But it was quite interesting. So remember that about AI also. There might be data that it's legally not supposed to give you, but they program it just to act like it's giving you the data, as opposed to like a human would be like, no, that's against the law, so I'm not going to say it, instead of just claiming they said it, you know? So not to just roast AI, it will have many benefits in the future as well, but I'm a little skeptical of those things. There's also the aspect of it taking people's art and just, you know, is it really making new art if it's just a mishmash of other people's art they already created? I mean, to a degree it is. Like, I think that you can make a song that samples another beat and still be creative, but to another degree, it's, you know, using pre-existing ideas that a human had to create. And for AI to get better, it's probably going to need new human inputs anyway. So if there's going to be new human inputs in that form anyway, it's sort of just combined, is just like a DJ of them almost, mishmashing them. But nothing against DJs. DJs I like more than AI. No, but I'll find some uses over the years for AI, I'm sure. And maybe when they have better versions of some of them, I'll be able to ask it questions that help me with math problems. For now, I've gotten a few times where I've asked it about like, what ways would you go about solving this problem? And it'll like note something cool that I look up and then I'm like, oh, that's good to know. So there's a few times it's shown me something cool, but the rate it shows me something cool compared to just going through Wikipedia and clicking different hyperlinks, worse accuracy than Wikipedia, fewer sources than Wikipedia, because they're not always going to admit where they got their sources from, and more cocky and overconfident. So I prefer Wikipedia and then going to sources than using AI and double checking its answer in a similar ish way. But, there will be uses. At some point, I will find more uses for AI. So even if I like roast it, if people have jobs relating to it, good for you. It's is an aspect of our world. You can use it for good. You can do interesting things with it. So we do have some more notes from people about AI thoughts and some other things. And one question, which is why is most of the videos and shorts in my backyard? Well, I mean, right now I live here with my family. I lived elsewhere for a bit of grade -2, and it wasn't far from here. But right now I live with my family, and I have a small room inside. And in fact, I filmed in that small room a lot of the last Combo Class episode on the main channel. But I just like being outdoors, and I like the look of it. I love nature, so I like having trees around me and how it looks in my videos to have trees and stuff around me. Additionally, having so much chaos here wouldn't fit in my room. It's a pretty small room. So my small room is sort of reserved for like things I need to function and live, like a dresser and a bed and stuff. And there's not that much room to also have a video set in between the dresser and the bed and stuff. And so when you're filming and stuff, you don't want a lot of noise interrupting it. So if I was filming in my living room or something, I would often have to cut if a family member comes in or out or whatever. So there's a corner that's a little further from the noise. It used to just be like the corner that we didn't do anything good with here. And so it was like, well, I should do something interesting with this corner. Why don't I turn it into my classroom/video set? And so I've grown to love being out here. It's transformed in many ways. It's hard to see right here, but like there's dice embedded in the floor. There's a whole carpet of dice that are flat. And the classroom has evolved. There's weird clock parts stuck in things. There's it's a whole evolving, world. And so I love my little classroom corner. Because I like any cool outdoor corner with clocks and stuff in it, but especially this one has grown to be my classroom, and so I like it here. Who knows if this will always be my main classroom? Maybe someday there will be some other classroom that has even more foresty space. I wouldn't mind some grade having my classroom be like straight up in the middle of the forest, but we'll see. Right now, this is at least for the first trilogy of grades. This is my home base, and you will find some of my clips filmed either elsewhere in nature, in a front yard area that I share. That's another thing, the front yardish area I share with 2 other houses, so I don't want to be filming out there all day. It's like a shared yard. I can film out there, but it might bug people if that was my main spot to do it. And then some of the clips are indoors, like that last main Combo Class episode has a bunch. But, I don't think it's as visually cool, and maybe I don't even think quite as good there. I think good when I'm out here, breathing the straight up oxygen and stuff. And there are flaws of being outside too. Less controllable lighting, less controllable noise, and so the train, when it goes by, if I'm doing a really important line, sometimes I'll have to just pause and wait a minute for the train. There's various things like that. So it's not perfect out here, but it's my classroom and I love it. And that now is actually probably enough for the stream. I said, I was joking about how I always go to an hour, but I didn't want to push it if I didn't have content. But I guess thanks to some random comments and some random thoughts, we did end up passing that hour. I hope everyone enjoyed these holiday facts and then a little catch up about some of my plans and current state of channels and such. Stay tuned for probably a main Combo Class episode coming out around New Year's, maybe January 1st if I can finish it by then. If not, sometime the first week. And whatever does end up showing up on this channel next, I don't know what's the next one going to be, that will hopefully be enjoyable as well. Remember, there's that Discord link that was posted earlier if you want to chat with other combo lords, or if you do want to help me continue to not put sponsorships and stuff. There is Patreon or YouTube memberships that are very helpful. And That's about all. I guess the last one is if you want any more combo content because you're bored, apart from my main grade playlists, remember that old live streams are saved as well. So you can always go to the live tab and watch if you're ever bored at night and want something in the background. There's a bajillion live streams. Anyway, lots of fun stuff coming soon, and I hope all of you are having a nice holiday if this is a time you celebrate those things. I'll see you again before New Year's, so I'll let you know next time a little more about my specific plans for the dawn of the new year. But keep that in your mind as well. What era do you want to begin? What cool new hobbies or changes of mindset or changes of daily rituals do you think would be good for you in the upcoming year? Or what projects do you want to finish, or etc.? And for now, hopefully you're enjoying some time with your family, or if it's not the time you celebrate holidays, or you don't want to be with your family or can't, enjoying something around you, whether it's a gift or a cool tree or anything. I love you all, and thank you for watching. I'm going to wrap